Chelsea, the FIFA Club World Cup champions.
Chelsea arrived at the Club World Cup with more questions than answers. A rookie gaffer, an unfinished squad, and the weight of a turbulent season still on their shoulders. Few saw them as contenders. Fewer still believed they could endure the mental grind of tournament football. But football doesn't care for forecasts. It rewards those who adapt, who suffer, who rise in the moments when the world turns away. This was never about one performance. It was about building pressure, stumbling, recovering, and answering each challenge with something stronger. From the group stage gut punch to a final that defied every expectation, Chelsea's campaign wasn't scripted. It was earned, clash by clash, belief by belief. The curtain raiser wasn't about dazzling football. It was about clarity of purpose. Chelsea entered this new global stage having just endured a brutal 63-match season. Fatigue was in their legs, but structure was in their minds. Maresca's approach was deliberate. Compress space, manage the tempo, strike when the opening appeared. LAFC showed tenacity and pushed higher than expected, but Chelsea stood firm. Pedro Neto struck first, capitalizing on a turnover with sharp instincts. Enzo Fernandez added the second, a composed finish that mirrored the team's overall display. Robert Sanchez ensured there were no slip-ups at the back, producing a clutch save late in the first half. Critics weren't impressed by the aesthetics. One tabloid called it professional but uninspired. But Maresca wasn't chasing flair. He was laying foundations. Chelsea didn't roar into the tournament. They whispered intent. The message was clear. This was a team still finding cohesion, but one that already understood the value of control. With Flamengo next, the temperature was about to rise. From the opening whistle, Flamengo made it their game. Pressing high and moving fluidly through midfield, they unsettled Chelsea. The Blues were reactive. Yet it was Chelsea who struck first. Pedro Neto punished a poor back pass, sprinting clear and finishing coolly. But that moment didn't change the tide. The Brazilians kept probing, driven by the crowd's energy and orchestrated by Jhon's command in midfield. Bruno Henrique equalized, Danilo turned the match, and Wallace Yan buried Chelsea. The goals came in a burst, each one eroding Chelsea's confidence. Nicholas Jackson's red card only compounded the misery, but the collapse had already happened. The British media were scathing. Tactically lost, one outlet claimed. Was Maresca's system built for calm seas but brittle in chaos? The spotlight turned intense. One group match left and no room for error. The line between progress and disaster was razor thin. Pressure games reveal character. Chelsea had to respond and did so with purpose. Maresca rotated heavily. Tosin Adebayo rose highest ahead in the opener, offering immediate relief. Then Alfie Gilchrist and Liam Delap each grabbed a goal. Symbolic moments for a squad relying on its depth. The football was more aggressive, the pressing better coordinated. This wasn't Chelsea at their slickest, but they rediscovered their rhythm. Esperanza showed grit, but the Blues didn't flinch. The match wasn't just about goals. It was about tone. After the Flamengo debacle, this felt like the side reclaiming its bearings. The young squad, for all its inconsistencies, had shown it could respond to adversity. With qualification secured, knockout football awaited. The mission was still alive. Drama was never in short supply. Reece James opened the scoring with a curling free kick, a captain's goal in spirit if not armband. Then came the storm, lightning, thunder, and a 2-hour suspension. When play resumed, Benfica emerged sharper. Di María equalized from the spot, his final act in European football before rejoining Rosario Central. It felt like Chelsea might stumble again, but in extra time they roared to life. Nkunku struck after a clever 1-2, then Pedro Neto and Dewsbury Hall punished a stretched Benfica side with brutal counterattacks. Each goal spoke of tactical sharpness and mental clarity. The media changed tone. Chelsea grew up tonight, one headline read. They weren't flawless, but for the first time, they looked like contenders. This one had layers. Palmer's early goal settled nerves, but the night belonged to Estevão, the Palmeiras wonder kid bound for Chelsea post-tournament. His equalizer was electric. His celebration, controversial. Marc Cucurella didn't hide his frustration. Estevão would soon be a teammate. For now, he was the enemy, and thriving. The match shifted on chaos. A freak own goal from Jhon handed Chelsea the win. It wasn't convincing, but it didn't have to be. João Pedro and Enzo kept things steady, and Sanchez made key saves. Palmeiras left with pride. Chelsea moved on, wary, wiser, and fully aware that brilliance alone wouldn't carry them. This one was personal. João Pedro returned to face Fluminense, the club that raised him. And under the lights at MetLife, he was clinical. 2 goals. No celebrations, just respect. But this wasn't a walk. Fluminense had earned their seat at the table. They'd beaten Inter Milan and ended Manchester City's run via Al Hilal. With Jhon Arias as their engine, they fought hard. Arias in tears post-match said it all. "We gave everything." And they had. Chelsea's superiority showed in control. Chalobah completed every pass, Palmer created endlessly, and Caicedo covered ground with intent. But the soul of the night was João Pedro. On the biggest stage, against the team that gave him his first boots, he delivered. Every bookmaker had PSG. Every analyst tipped a thrashing. Chelsea, they didn't care. Cole Palmer ran the show. 2 goals, one a calm finish, the other from a blistering counter, and an assist to João Pedro before halftime. PSG were stunned. João Neves lost his head and saw red. Their control vanished. Chelsea's young core outthought and outplayed Europe's elite. Palmer claimed player of the tournament. Maresca smiled, not in triumph, but vindication. England had its first club world title, and Chelsea had its moment. Chelsea's journey to the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup title wasn't seamless. It was turbulent, tense, and deeply revealing. Maresca's side arrived as a work in progress, but match by match they hardened. The team wasn't built on superstars. It was built on collective belief. Injuries forced rotations, red cards sparked debates. Opponents tested every inch of Chelsea's resolve, but they never backed down. Palmer became the team's face. Elegant, ruthless, and decisive. João Pedro evolved into a dependable striker. Caicedo, Sanchez, and Colwell anchored a core that grew bolder under pressure. Maresca himself summed it up best. "This was the hardest month of football I've lived, but also the most beautiful." What this means for Chelsea is more than just a trophy. It's a turning point. A sign that the rebuild has roots, that ambition now has direction. Can they sustain it domestically? Can this spirit become their identity? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you never miss the real stories behind the game.